Whether it's Noem or Bondi or Trump himself, the Trump administration is pretty much hell-bent on discrediting whistleblowers and anyone who is out there sharing information with the press and the public. And there is good reason for that, because the Trump administration has made lying the norm. People inside the government, officials being brave enough to speak to the press, is the only way we know what is actually happening inside the Trump administration. I mean, every example I've cited so far, the slow FEMA response in Texas, ICE supervisors directing their agents to go after non-criminals rather than actual criminals, that new evidence that Emil Bovee directed DOJ lawyers to defy court orders. This is a guy up for an appointment to be a judge. Those all came out in just the past 24 hours, just the past 24 hours. And if we zoom out, if we look at what we have learned just in the past 6 months of Trump's new term, so much of it we only know because of public servants who spoke out, whether anonymously or through the whistleblower process or even in public. Without them, we wouldn't know what is really going on inside the administration. We wouldn't know that an assessment written by U.S. intelligence agencies contradicted Trump's justification for deporting immigrants to prison in El Salvador, or that Trump Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard fired the officials who wrote that assessment, or that her chief of staff pushed intelligence officials to rewrite that assessment to make it look better for Trump. We wouldn't know any of that. Without sources willing to speak out, we wouldn't know that the Pentagon nearly briefed Elon Musk, a private citizen with tons of business interests in China, on the U.S. military's plans should war ever break out with China. That very bad, horrible, conflict of interest idea of a briefing was reportedly then called off, presumably, probably, because it was reported in the press. Funny how that works. Without these public servants, we wouldn't know about all of the myriad of ways that Trump's mass firings and Elon Musk's Doge were gutting entire agencies in the federal government. We wouldn't know their obsession with acquiring everybody's data. We wouldn't know about that. On a near daily basis, we are seeing an increasing number of small but significant acts of bravery to get the truth out there, which is why we've seen Trump and his cabinet repeatedly try to stamp that out. Officials across the administration are using polygraph tests, it's been reported, to attempt to flush out even the smallest of leaks. And at the FBI, Director Kash Patel is reportedly using polygraph tests to not only mitigate unflattering press, but also to screen employees for loyalty. And it's not just going after individuals, but the agencies in place that are in place to protect whistleblowers. Back in February, Trump fired 18 inspectors general across the government. We all remember that. It was a long time ago, it seems like, but it did happen. Those are the independent watchdogs within government agencies who investigate allegations of impropriety within their departments, and they are critical to protecting whistleblowers. And now Trump is looking to take over another independent body that protects whistleblowers, the Office of Special Counsel, which is supposed to operate as a secure channel for federal employees to disclose potential wrongdoing without fear of retaliation. It's really no surprise, I guess, that Trump has nominated this guy to lead the office. Meet Paul Ingrassia. He is 30 years old with barely a year of government experience under his belt. He currently works as the White House liaison for the Department of Homeland Security. And while that sounds important, it is not a senior job in any way, shape, or form. If he sounds a little unqualified to run the 110-person office that for nearly 50 years has been the agency for whistleblowers and alleged ethics violations, well, hold on to your hat, because it gets much worse. Back in 2023, Ingrassia worked with the legal team defending Manosphere influencer, accused rapist, and human trafficker Andrew Tate. He posted this picture of the two of them on Instagram with the glowing caption, "Andrew Tate is an extraordinary human being." If that doesn't give you enough sense of this guy's worldview, this guy's judgment, where he stands, here is a sampling of his activity on Elon Musk's X. Last year, on the anniversary of September 11th, Ingrassia shared a video of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones claiming that 9/11 was an inside job. He also said things like, quote, "Being anti-Trump is the biggest dog whistle in politics for anti-white racism." Okay. And last year for Pride Month, Ingrassia posted, "Certain behaviors are righteous and should be encouraged. Others are wrong and should be stigmatized and condemned." As for his writing, Ingrassia has written his fair share of fawning pieces about Trump. He's also argued that January 6 rioters were politically persecuted and that white supremacist and anti-Semite Nick Fuentes has been wrongly censored. I could go on. I literally could go on. There's much more. But I think you get a pretty solid sense of who this guy is. His politics are fringe far right. His judgment and objectivity are very questionable. And he's fiercely loyal to Donald Trump. He is pretty much the last person on earth who should run the office that helps and protects federal employees who speak up against this administration and what it is doing, which is so pivotal to have those protections. And based on everything we've seen Trump and his administration do, that appears to be completely by design. The only sliver of potential good news here, because we all need a little hope at all the moments, is that Engrase will require Senate confirmation. And while there's no date on the calendar just yet, and I don't have a huge amount of hope in a Republican Senate, we do have, you never know. Sometimes people warrant a closer look, and this guy does.